In this video, I will talk about sampling modes supported by the application. If we go to the time axis, we can go to the part on the screen, history criteria. Here we can define the sampling modes. Sampling mode is a way to retrieve the data out of the database, and there are several ways to do it. I'm only going to talk about the important ones for the application. First of all, we have current value. If we pick current value, we will get the last known value of the database. So for now, this is a value on 1330. We have two variables assigned, so we have 75 and 78. It's the last known value within the database. Another sampling mode is raw by time. Raw by time will give you exactly the samples that are in the database. So if you store within an hour 4 samples, it will give you 4 samples, regardless of the number of samples here. These are ignored. So if we go back, we will see that for each variable, because we're saving every 15 minutes, we will have 1, 2, 3, 4 points. These are the raw samples. They're saved like that in the database. If we start altering this number, it does nothing. It does nothing because it's just retrieving the raw values. If we go for a raw by number, we will retrieve the number of samples starting from the start time. So if I set 2, you will see that I get 2 samples starting from the start time. So one at 13:45 and one at 14 hours. If we make 3, you will get 3. It's very handy if you want to retrieve an amount of raw values from your database. If you would like to retrieve all the values or 100 values starting from that start time, you can do it like that. There is another interpolation method, and that's the interpolated one. So if we pick that one and we take the number of samples, 10 for example, it means that we're going to retrieve 10 points, but they will be interpolated. As we know, for our time span of 1 hour, we only have 4 values. We know it because of the raw by time query we did last time. If we set it to interpolated value 10, it will give you 10 values. And you will see it will interpolate the values after they have been saved in the database. So you will get evenly spaced points in your trend. It's handy to compare different variables in an application or on the trend. So if we take 100, we will get a lot more. We get 100 samples. Now we're based on value, but if we take time, and the time interval is 1 or 10 seconds, for example, you will get a sample every 10 seconds. And especially this one is very important if you start to compare currents or something else. It's very easy to interpolate them, so you get evenly spaced samples based on time, and you can start to compare them. If you take the raw data, the data is being saved at a certain timestamp, but it's possible that for another variable it's not saved on the exact same timestamp. And with this interpolation method, you can retrieve exactly the same data on the same timestamp. So it's very handy for that one. There are other sampling modes, which we're not going to discuss because they're quite advanced for this application.